Step 5. Analyse the introduction and conclusion. This article dives straight into the first A-level heading discussion of human rights as a hindrance. However, it does link that discussion firmly to the question in the title of the article, which does give a kind of introductory emphasis to that question and reminds us what's at the heart of the author's concerns. The article begins with, "For many detached observers, the immediate response to the question our title poses would be that, of course, human rights hinder environmental protection." Notice that the use of italics implies that the answer to this question for detached observers is a bit of a no-brainer, which, when you think about it, is a cunning way of setting up the case against which the author will then offer his further arguments about social movements and the power of human rights to mobilise protest and languages of change. Note too that there's a brief later introduction of the structure of the article at page 15, which would normally be included at the front of an article if the author was being more traditional in his approach perhaps, but what he's done works pretty well here in its context. Turning to the conclusion, we can see that it's clearly announced by a heading number 6, which explicitly says it's the conclusion, and that the conclusion is that mutual reciprocity is a necessary feature of the relationship between human rights and environmental protection. Analysing the text in that section with a brief skim, we can see that the author argues that human rights bring a vital ethical component to environmentalist arguments about climate change by ensuring that there's a focus on the human consequences of climate policies. That's at page 21. The author also argues that environmentalists bring to human rights the kind of concerns that can ground human rights convincingly in a way that shores up their criticised foundations by pointing to how embedded humans are in the natural world, at page 22. Now that's all very useful information,